This video is everything you need to know for the Solstice of Heroes event and all of the stuff that's happening over the next week and the next month of Destiny 2. Our main topic is going to be on the free event, but we'll also be covering a lot more with information on Solar Week, special event emblems, Armor 2.0, secret triumphs in the new 2019 seal, changes to RNG of the Heroic Menagerie, and more. So let's equip our Lord of Wolves, slay some hive gods, and cheese our way right into this. Man, I've been watching too many Actman videos. Solstice of Heroes is the summertime event running from July 30th to August 27th that is free to all players of Destiny 2. Similar to Solstice 2018, players will be tasked with collecting and upgrading an armor set. And the more you upgrade it, the nicer it's going to look. And you'll be able to use armor glows to, well, make the armor glow. Along with that is the empowerment mechanic, where matching your subclass and weapons to a specific element will generate elemental orbs. Now every day one of these three elements, either Arc, Solar, or Void, will be featured, and when you match your subclass and weapons to the featured element, then collect 30 of those orbs, it's going to apply a buff to your character that will last for a short time or until you are killed. Depending on the element, you'll get a different buff. The Solar buff causes Guardians to emit a burning wave of energy that damages anything around them. The Void buff allows Guardians to crouch to become invisible and gain true sight, along with enhanced ability regen. This one's going to be pretty clutch for the grenade kills and ability kills next time Iron Banner rolls around. And the Arc buff will enhance a Guardian's speed, melee damage, and sword damage, which if you've been following the Hunter's Liar's Handshake and 1-2 punch build, you'll know that extra melee damage is going to make this build even more nutty. Unlike the Revelry, these buffs will not be active in competitive or Gambit Prime. That's kind of the whole gimmick of Solstice of Heroes, but there's more to it this year. Instead of the Redux missions we got last year, we're getting a brand new location called the European Aerial Zone. Similar to the Haunted Forest, this 3-player matchmade activity will allow you to take on Hive, Cabal, and Fallen, and defeat as many mini-bosses as possible before time expires. When you do run out of time, you'll face a final boss, and after defeating it, chests will spawn around the EAZ that you can open for rewards similar to the Dawning packages, things like rare and legendary gear, enhancement cores, and materials. Cool thing is, once you've earned the legendary Solstice Armor, these packages will reward you with additional armor that can drop enhanced perks. In order to open these chests in the activity, however, you'll need Solstice key fragments that come from completing any activity during the event. For those of you who watched my last video discussing all the biggest cheeses right now in the game, using the AFK Forge farm is probably going to be the best way to get all these key fragments, unless of course it gets patched next Tuesday. Collecting the full legendary armor set of Solstice gear on all classes will give you access to the EV37 Void Streak Sparrow. So now we come to the fun part, upgrading the armor. Like last year's event, there are 3 variations of the armor. The first set is uncommon gear called the Drained Armor, the second is the Renewed Armor, which is a rare set, and the final set is Legendary Majestic Armor. From the Majestic set, you can then choose to fully masterwork each piece of gear individually by completing extra objectives. If you were wondering what those 2 secret triumphs were in the 2019 seal were, those are related to the Solstice Armor. The first is for obtaining the complete set of Legendary Majestic Armor for one character, and the second triumph is for masterworking any piece of the Majestic Solstice Armor. Not the entire thing, just one piece, so if you've knocked out everything else in the seal, don't worry, these last 2 won't be that much trouble. To upgrade each set of armor, it's a bit of a grind again, so I'm going to go quickly over the kind of things you should expect to be doing to upgrade each piece of armor. If you want to look at the steps on your own time, I've got a link for that in the description. You can skip to the time on the screen if you're just not interested in hearing about the steps. Essentially, all the classes will be doing the same thing, just with a slightly randomized order. To upgrade the Drained set to the Renewed set, you'll need to complete runs through the EAZ, land precision final blows, and defeat Hive combatants. Loot chests in the EAZ, complete Solstice of Hero bounties, defeat enemies in the EAZ with specific subclass elements. Complete adventures, complete specific elemental orbs and strikes, and defeat opposing guardians in Crucible or Gambit. Complete public events on Nessus, collect specific elemental orbs in Crucible or Gambit, and unlock Solstice packages. Complete playlist strikes, collect elemental orbs in any activity, and complete Crucible or Gambit matches. That's how you get to the renewed set, and then to upgrade that to the majestic set, you'll need to complete Gambit matches, collect elemental orbs using a matching subclass, and as a team defeat opposing guardians in Crucible or Gambit using a specific elemental weapon. Then complete heroic public events, complete daily or weekly challenges, and defeat mini-bosses in the EAZ. Defeat enemies in strikes using a subclass that matches the element day, loot chest in the EAZ, and defeat Fallen using a subclass that matches the element day, complete bounties, collect specific elemental orbs in any strike, and defeat enemy combatants with specific element abilities. Finally, complete patrols on a specific planet, collect elemental orbs of any type on a specific location, and defeat enemy combatants with specific elemental type weapons. Then, if you want to masterwork the set, you'll need to do the following. Complete a Nightfall with a score of 200,000 or better, complete playlist strikes with clanmates, complete the dungeon Shattered Throne in the Dreaming City with a fire team of 2 players or fewer, reset your Season 7 Valor ranking in the Crucible, which by the way should count if you've already reset it previously this season, and finally defeat challenging combatants throughout the system. And that's pretty much all the objectives for upgrading the armor and masterworking it, just with slight variations on the elements and locations depending on what class you're using. Remember, you have an entire month to upgrade one set, and all you need to do for the badge is get the full majestic set and masterwork a piece of it. You might be thinking, why would I invest all this time into these armor sets if Bungie is coming out with that new Armor 2.0 system in the fall? Well, at the community's request, Bungie has made it so that the Solstice gear will be the first gear that's part of Armor 2.0, a brand new way to look at armor that seeks to create a more impactful stat-based system with much more depth and meaning than we've seen so far. Armor 2.0 includes the already well-known mobility, resilience, and recovery stats, but also includes the Destiny 1 intellect, discipline, and strength stats. And that's on top of other customization options. You can check out an article discussing all the details of Armor 2.0 in the description. So if you earn a full legendary set of 2019 Solstice gear, their new Armor 2.0 versions of the Solstice gear will be waiting for you at the Gunsmith when the Shadowkeep DLC releases, which is pretty awesome. I can't wait to show up to all those free-to-play scrubs with my fancy glowing armor. Speaking of glowing, you'll also be able to purchase the armor glows and more from Eververse during this event. Oh, and by the way, the new armor glows you get this event will work on the new Armor 2.0 versions of the Solstice gear in September. During the Solstice of Heroes event, Gambit will also be free to play to all players of Destiny 2. Again, that's from July 30th to August 27th. July 30th is the week that kicks everything off. We're also getting some Lord of Wolves changes that go into effect on the 30th. They're reducing the amount of ammo shotgun scavenger perks can give to Lord of Wolves in the Release the Wolves state. They're also decreasing the effective range on Lord of Wolves, which is stated to be a more aggressive decrease when it's in the Release the Wolves state. All changes that seem to be mainly focused on PvP, although none of them specifically say that, so we'll see how they affect the gun next week. Something else that's happening next week is special event emblems are being rewarded to those of you who played during this Iron Banner and the last Iron Banner, as well as the laser tag event that happened back in Curse of Osiris. Bungie wanted to create something special as a memory of the time when something was just crazy broken, and so their first emblem, Wolves Unleashed, is for players who have played during the first Iron Banner and second Iron Banner of Season 7, the second one being the one that's going on right now. You'll get a package in the Postmaster that unlocks a Triumph, which once claimed rewards this special emblem. This allows you to basically say, hey, look at me, I was there when Lord of Wolves was so busted, and I survived the onslaught of the wolves. The next emblem, Prismatic Inferno, will only be rewarded to players who finished a Crucible match between the dates of December 8th and December 12th of 2017. This was for the laser tag event where Prometheus Lens, the Curse of Osiris trace rifle, was completely busted, and to make matters worse, or actually better in my opinion, Xur sold it so that everybody could buy it and use it, and Trials was just a mess with lasers, and it was actually so much fun. It felt like one of those custom games from Halo where somebody just twisted the knobs up and let people go crazy with a super strong weapon. Which I actually hope in Shadowkeep we do get more of those custom game type party games that let you kind of chill out, have some fun, and not take the game too seriously. And I gotta say, both these emblems look absolutely sick, especially the Prometheus Lens one. This is for sure going to be one of the rarest emblems in the game, as I know a lot of people stopped playing during Curse of Osiris. Proud to say I stuck it out, and I'm happy I'm going to be able to rock this one soon. Also, Solar Week is apparently coming very, very soon, probably near the end of August. Arc Week, if you remember, was mostly just a glorified patch where a bunch of old Arc subclasses got buffed, as well as some other ones, and the Thunderlord mission returned to the game for a limited time. Arc Week was when things like Combination Blow for the Arc Strider got buffed, Bottom Tree Striker became amazing, and the Stormcolor's Arc Web Grenade became the strongest grenade ever in PvP, so the changes were pretty significant. This time around, we can expect changes to Dawnblade, probably to Bottom Tree Sunbreaker, and of course Golden Gun, just to name a few. Vendors will be selling Solar Week bounties, and Tess Eververse will be offering those solar-themed emotes. It was also discovered in the database that there will be rocket launcher components added to the game during Solar Week. This could be a hint at that exotic solar rocket launcher we all loved returning in the future, or Bungie will just bamboozle us and give us something like Dragon's Breath. Some other important changes that are going into effect on July 30th include the following. The Iron Banner quest objectives are getting changed. The amount of grenade kills will be reduced by 50%, and ally grenade kills will be worth just as much as your own. The sword kills objective is also being reduced, as well as ally sword kills now being worth as much as your own. There's also been some changes to the Heroic Menagerie. The activity will now be guaranteed to drop a sword for the very first time you complete it. This is a one-time thing on your account, which begins Tuesday. So even if you've already completed Heroic Menagerie once, you are guaranteed to get the sword on your first run starting Tuesday. Subsequent completions of Heroic Menagerie will also have a 25% chance to drop the sword. So thankfully, it's not all bad. This was really my only complaint about the Shadow title, and I'm glad it's getting fixed before the season is over. The Tribute Hall triumphs for the Emperor's Gladiator and Scoundrel in uniform will no longer require full sets of Leviathan gear equipped to progress, starting on Tuesday as well. There's a lot going on in the world of Destiny, and the communication has actually been really fantastic by Bungie, and if you're interested to dive deeper in some of these topics, or just want to see if any of the things you're interested in were mentioned, like Sleeper Nodes RNG, Faction Rallies, Sparrow Horns, Teraba and Scout Rifle buffs, etc., you can head over to DestinyRoundup.com. It's a really great site that compiles all the information from various sites like Reddit, the Bungie forums, Twitter, and YouTube. Basically, it rounds up all the responses and communication from the developers and the community managers. I would highly recommend checking it out every once in a while if you want to keep up on the more minor news of Destiny 2. I'll be sure to link it in the description. All of the sources of info I talked about in this video can also be found in the description, and with that, I want to thank you all very much for watching, and be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications if you're looking to stay updated on all of the new Destiny 2 content.